Okay, hello everyone. That took a minute to get myself on. Anyway, hope everybody's doing well. Let me get my notes. For today, welcome, welcome. As you come in, feel free to say hi. Please, of course, like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Help me get to 1,000 viewers, please. Subscribers, please. Okay, here we go. Got my notes. Awesome. Hello. Welcome, welcome. My outfit is like all over the place. Hey, everybody. So let us know where you are watching from and what you're drinking. I have a newer tea. This is an elderberry tea. It has hibiscus, rose hips, elderberry, of course, lemongrass, licorice, and orange peel. So that's what's on the tea sip for today. Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's like I need to spice it up a bit. I mean, usually I wear white or something, but I love these caftans that I have. So, and it's been a while, and it's been a long time since I've been here on a live. Like, I hadn't planned to take, those 2 weeks off, but that week before, like I already knew I was not going to be on for Thanksgiving, just because of when I was planning to do videos. But the week before, ended up working on a film shoot, so that's why I wasn't able to donate, or well, basically donate time to this. Anyway, drinking water. Yes, water is the business. I've definitely been making a point to stay up on my water for sure, and lots of vitamin C. I am now finally over that cold. But only like just now finished like clearing out all the stuff. So I'm actually about to do another cleanse. I just ordered one to go a little bit deeper than the one that I had done a couple months ago. So I'm looking forward to that and knocking out whatever else might be trying to hide in my body. Holly, you're watching from Berkeley. Nice. Warm water. Yes, that's lovely. Yeah, I always... I have these 12-ounce jars of water. So first thing, I have one of those right when I wake up. And then usually I'm doing a lot of tea and other like superfood drinks, really heavy in the morning. I tend to front load a lot of my hydration first thing in the morning, and then lessen it the closer I get to bed. So I'm not like jumping up in the middle of the night to go pee. Hello, good morning. Tivana, Jade, Mint, and Peach. Ooh, that's a nice combination. Very nice. Have you missed me? I've missed you all. 2 weeks is definitely way too long. I'm definitely going to try my best to only miss 1 week per month and not 2, because it definitely feels, weird. So anyway, how's everybody been doing? How was everyone's Thanksgiving or Gratitude Day or whatever the thing is? Yes. Oh, thank you. And also, have you been getting my newsletters? I switched now to a weekly format for the forecast, just so I can really hone people into what's going on each week in terms of what's going on in the astrology. So it's not that huge of a change, but I was doing weekly forecasts like earlier in the year, and then I switched to monthly. But it was time to switch back. So we'll see how long I stay on this weekly situation. Quick announcement. The next Friday is the last day to enroll into the Lightworker Incubator, for those of you who are interested in joining the January semester. And then the first payment is due on the 14th, which is Saturday. And every 14th, there'll be a payment due. So it's a monthly payment system. So if you have been thinking about it or been kind of like on the fence about it, definitely really take some time to think on it, pray about it, etc. over the week. Check out the information on the website for topics that are going to be covered. I'm also going to be sharing a lot more testimonials from the students. So I actually just posted on Instagram and Facebook today. So you can check out some of those, and I'll continue posting for the remaining days of the enrollment period, so you can get a sense of what people are saying, the kind of experiences that they're having to help you make that decision. Yeah. And if you decide it's not the time right now, do not worry. There will be another one. Okay. That I do know. That's not going to be changing next year. So if for some reason it's not the right time for January, then just be on the lookout for the next enrollment period, and just jump in at that time. Okay. No big deal. But if you're definitely been feeling a pull, especially if you've been like thinking about it all this year and you're like, I want to do it, go ahead and do it. Because it's always best, I find, to start the year with this kind of, now that I've like gone through 2 semesters so far of it, one starting, beginning of the year, one starting over the summer. I think in general, we're poised to be more focused and have more energy to devote to educational matters and personal development matters at the top of the year. I'm not a big fan of like launching big stuff, but I think it's at the beginning of the year because it's winter, but winter is a great time for learning and for incubating and developing. So yeah, anyway, so that's that. I hope you will definitely reach out. We have a nice mix of folks who are interested. So yeah, I think you'll get a lot out of it. What else is going on? For those of you who are here in Southern California, I am going to be doing an in-person event on December 21st, which is the winter solstice, and that is going to be my a night with the Oracle event. So it's a 3-hour. Well, this one is going to be 2.5 hours. But 2.5 hour event where I will be doing specific channel messages. One, just general channel messages for humanity, just to give a sense of like kind of where we are right now spiritually, collectively. And then I'm going to be doing specific channel messages for the group, like so a group reading. So for those who are choosing to come in, specific messages that are going to be related to their personal growth and development, et cetera, moving forward. And then we'll take like a short break, maybe like 10 minutes or so, and then we'll do a Q&A. It'll be open Q&A, so you can ask questions on anything, whether it's your ascension process, light worker stuff, seeking guidance on things, whatever it is. And then we'll finish off with a group energy healing. So that should be lovely. And again, that's on the 21st, winter solstice, going to be down in Long Beach. I'll be back at the Salt Lounge. And that starts at 5:30 and will go till 8. I believe it's 5:30. It's 5 or 5:30. I'll have to double check, but I'll have a link soon and a flyer soon. They're supposed to actually get that to me hopefully today or tomorrow. So we'll definitely, I definitely should have something to be able to put in the newsletter for next week, but stay connected to me on Instagram and Facebook, because that's actually the fastest way for me to get information out, because I don't like to send out, as you know, I don't like to send out a lot of emails, because I know it just kind of gets lost in the shuffle. Yeah, so I think that's it in terms of announcements. So anyway, again, welcome to new folks who are coming in. Please like the video and please subscribe to the channel. I am so close to 1,000 subscribers on here. So yay, everyone. Thank you for helping me get to that spot. All right, so I have some notes of things that I wanted to talk to you guys about that were coming to me from Spirit right now about what our focus needs to be for today in general, but also for the 2020 timeframe. So I'm going to go through those notes first. I'm going to do. I'm actually going to jump right into channeled messages. And this is actually going to be from my oversoul to you all. And then I will do the other cards, like the color and the other oracle decks to close out. So it'll be a different order for today. Okay, just so that you know. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome. Let me shuffle these up. And actually, let me talk briefly about the astrology. So we just had the first quarter square moon on Tuesday, and that was in Pisces. And I believe that was 11 degrees. Let me double check. Yeah, it was 11 degrees. And then we're going to have the full moon coming up on the 11th, if you're on the West Coast, on the 12th, if you're on the East Coast. And that's going to be happening in Gemini at 19 degrees, okay? So we are in a really, the time between the first quarter square and the full moon is a great time of expansion and growth and opportunities popping in. I know for myself, I've already been seeing that energy pop up nicely, so I'm excited about that. But then also too, with the, as I was mentioning last month about the loosed water kite with between the Scorpio, Capricorn, Pisces, and Cancer, that's being highlighted again basically this whole first part of the month through the 13th. So we're really sitting in that energy right now. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near as intense as it was at the beginning of November, but the messages that I've been continuing to be getting from Spirit is that the last little vestiges of whatever kind of needs to be cleared is on its way out, because the energy is going to be significantly shifting when we come into the winter solstice, which is only going to be a week after this this loose water kite period. So today we do have the moon moving into Aries, and that's actually going to be happening within this next hour or so. And then Saturday it moves, Saturday, Sunday it moves into Taurus. So the weekend should actually feel really yummy because the moon in Taurus feels very good. We will have on Sunday Venus sextiling Neptune, so that should feel really nice. And then on Monday, Mercury moves into Sagittarius. So Mercury in Sag is very fast-moving energy, fast communication, heightened manifestation, and things coming into fruition. So basically from that point, so Mercury moves out of Sag, which is, let me get that date for you. Basically right at the end of the month. So we have a good, almost, basically 3 weeks of that fast moving energy. So I expect that any of the lower or kind of humdrum or kind of lost in the fog energy should definitely start to lighten up when that shift from Mercury happens. And then, like I said, the full moon on the 11th. That day is also the same day that Venus is going to be conjunct Saturn. So that should be interesting. That should be really interesting. Yeah, Venus is going to be doing conjunctions with Saturn and Pluto all next week, and that's the tail end of this water kite energy. So depending on your sensibilities, that may be a very emotional time. We will see. I will be here on Oracle Talks right in the middle of it, so we'll definitely see how that energy is going to play out for everybody, because full moon energy is full moon energy, especially for the water signs, but it will be in an air sign. So I think it's just going to depend on people's charts, of course, like how all that's going to feel. So that's the astrology that's coming up. So the topic that I got for today, which I will title after all this officially uploads on YouTube, is walk your path. Okay, walk your path, and by that meaning, walk the path that is for you to do from a soul level, not your ego, not what your friends think, not what your family thinks, not what society thinks. Walk your path. I got your in like big capital letters when that came down. So one of the things that came up on the last Oracle Talks 2 weeks ago was the importance of the ratio of time and energy that's spent on building and cultivating the new energy versus addressing and still healing and releasing the old. And so ideally what we want to be doing is having, out of 100% of our attention and focus and resources, right, having 70% of that being geared towards what is new, what's coming, what you are for continuing to develop, etc., and 30% be on reviewing, healing, releasing the old. And that is what's going to help you, is what I was told, help us stay ahead of the massive wave of transformation and shifting that is coming. I mean, it's already, I'm sure everyone is already feeling it now, but like next year when we have this shift, yes. So do that as best as possible. At the very least, 60-40. Okay. But really try for 70% of your time, your attention, your emotions, your actions, your resources being put into developing and creating the new, 30% on working to heal and release yourself and excavate the old. Okay. It's very much more heavy into the new energy because it's definitely the sense I'm getting of like if things need to move, and they're going to move, not need to, they will be moving. So again, walking your path, and at this point, you should know realistically what it is for you to be working on for next year. And more likely than not, it's only going to be 1 or 2, possibly 3, but really I've been feeling from spirit, just 1 or 2 things extra that are developments of what you're already successful in. Okay, so it's not really an energy of taking on like a lot of like brand new stuff, right? It's an extension and expansion on what's already working and taking that to the next appropriate step. Okay, and of course that necessarily has meant and continues to mean a dwindling down of your focus and attention and resources to all the other things that might be pulling your attention. Okay. One of the things that came down, which was hilarious, was just because you can do something does not mean you should. I'm going to say that again. Just because you can does not mean you should. And so obviously this can apply to so many things. Like when I got that message, it was funny to me because like I remember in my 20s and early 30s, but more so my 20s, people would be like, "Oh, you'd be such a great mother," and I'm like, "I know I can. It's not necessarily my calling." "Oh, you'd be a great teacher," and so I went the traditional teacher route and tried it out because like I just constantly was getting that. Wasn't for me. I'm still a teacher in my own vein, but like that context just didn't work for me. But it's like there's so much that's opening up. There's so many possibilities, so many options. And yes, you can do all of them, but that does not mean that you actually should, because where we're moving into now, which is very much a place of mastery in practice, not a development of mastery. It's you are now master, so now you're just operating from that place, right? That does not mean you should say yes to everything. When you go to a buffet, yes, you might love everything that's on the table. Does that mean you should eat everything on the table? No. Right? So that's what's going to be interesting with this Jupiter and Capricorn energy is lots of opportunity for leveling up, amplifying your personal ambition, building more financial resources, physical resources, etc. But walking that line of what really requires your focus and what doesn't. So what was coming through as it relates to this message of just because you can doesn't mean you should is a reminder that, excuse me, the North Node in Gemini, we associate with the Lover's card, right? And then the Lover's energy flips to the Devil energy, which is Capricorn, depending on if you're listening to your higher self or ego. So that's that thing of, really having to watch as we come into this nodal change, which will happen in the springtime, of really seeing, okay, with all the things that are coming up, all the options, because options are either opportunities or obstacles, what actually is requiring and truly in alignment with where I'm supposed to go. Yes, it's exciting. Yes, I can see the possibilities. Yes, the people who are connected with it are really cool. Is this really going to play out? And taking that moment to take a breath, check in and see, is this for me right now? Is this for me for my trajectory? Seeing where the flow really is versus the excitement, which can be hard to tell the difference at the beginning, because there's going to be a lot of excitement, but it's like, just let things play out. I think more often than not, there's going to be a lot of fanfare, a lot of excitement, but I don't necessarily think a lot of things are going to stick just because it's going to be such a heavy mutable energy. And Capricorn is a sign that very much is going to hold the standard for what you have committed to, and that decision has been being made all this year. Okay. So it's not like you're going to go into next year and be like, okay, I'm going to completely revamp my life. Like that, definitely, I'm not picking up at all. It's this whole first section of Saturn going through Capricorn has been the reorientation phase. And like I said, it's a walking out of the mastery as opposed to a developing of mastery, because we're already past that point now. I don't know why this is there. Okay. So let me see the rest of my notes. Okay. So these messages had no chill. The other message I got was opportunities or options, as I've been calling them, can't be activated to their fullest potential if you haven't been doing the work. There are no shortcuts in Capricorn. I mean, basically, guys, we are entering into a Saturn year. Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn in Capricorn. It's a Saturn year. Saturn rules Capricorn. Opportunities can't be activated to their fullest potential if you haven't been doing the work. There are no shortcuts in Capricorn. Yes, we're moving into North Node, going to Gemini, Sagittarius. All that's going to do is create opportunity. It's going to shift the field, but that Capricorn energy is steady, right? I was reminded of this, I don't know if it's a Taoist phrase or not, but it's this story or a parable about questioning series, I'll say. It's probably a Buddhist thing. that says, okay, what did the master do before enlightenment? Chop wood and carry water. What did the master do after enlightenment? Chop wood and carry water. It's like, you, yes, are in a place of mastery, but the fundamentals are still the things that you have to do, right? Another thing that came through is that your individual responsibility, our individual responsibility is greater, is going to be greater. So for me, I was taking this to mean for us that we are really going to be asked and tasked with showing up for ourselves personally the way that we really need to, in a way that's required based off of what we've been asking for. Okay. So that may mean if you know you haven't been the best with your diet and exercise, or you just kind of like off and on about it, like you're going to have to be on. Managing your finances, paying attention to it or not, like you're going to have to pay attention to it. You're going to have to up level. For the most part, though, with this energy, again, if you have been doing your work, I don't necessarily think there's going to be a lot of resistance to it. I think there's actually going to be an ease and grace around implementing different habits. Whereas before, like it might have been like really triggering, it might have been really scary. You might have had a lot of blocks and defenses, but I don't get that energy per se for most folks. I think everyone is now ready, willing, and able to make those changes. But I think that you may be surprised at how selfish you're going to have to be. And I'm going to use that word specifically because really being self-centered and really putting self first, I feel is going to be key in order to survive this year. And I'm saying survive because I think this year coming up is going to be amazing, but I think it's also going to be a lot, real talk. It's also an election year, so you already know. But yeah, that personal responsibility piece is going to go up, and it's a reflection of self-love. This isn't coming in the energy of punishment or like judgment or anything like that. It's a leveling up. If you were somebody that was like, think about this in the business context, like, when they do the books of like, oh, let's study how these titans of industry, spend their days. Like, what are their habits? What time they get up? What kind of books do they read? What are they eating? How they exercise? Who they associate with? And like how we break down all of that stuff, right? It's kind of that same vibe you have to have with yourself of like, oh, if I'm that an important person, if I have that much influence, if I'm serving in this big a way, how am I actually needing to show up for myself? Because that level of care is very different, I'm sure, for all of us, very different for how we take care of ourselves at this current stage. So there's definitely going to have to be an up-leveling to match that. And again, it's more likely than not anything that you don't already know, but it's like that wishy-washy, on again, off again stuff. We're gonna have to chill. All right, so things we are to be doing right now in this final month of the year. So I got that the assessment time is almost complete, which of course makes sense because we're about to shift into winter. Autumn time is that assessment time for me spiritually. So, review what you need to review, continue to make plans and make shifts, make adjustments, decide what you're going to do, how you're going to be, how you're going to just show up. Get all of that worked out in these next few weeks. Because yeah, it's going to be go time essentially. Continue with what has been successful already. Eliminate the rest. So this is hyper focus, staying more in alignment with what is 100%, what you're wanting to continue to cultivate, as opposed to making do with something that's like 50% there, or just, you know, getting along just to get along, or just doing something or saying yes to something just to fill the space. That has to stop for sure. And again, you should already know what the next 1 or 2 steps are. That's your assignment for next year. That definitely should have already come in. Now, whether or not you want to trust that, that's between you and God. But more likely than not, it's not a matter of you not knowing. Real talk. Okay. All right. So any questions on that before I jump into our channel messages? No questions? Awesome. All right. So let's see. The guidance. And so when I'm referring to my oversoul, I actually should be more specific that I'm talking about the monad group that I'm a part of. So this is truly a message for the soul family. As opposed to the collective of humanity. So if you're here and engaged, you are a soul family. And you're family with everybody else who's here as well, whether you know them or not. Our presence here is purposeful. And we all have our assignments. So I give thanks for this, this spirit council, this gathering of like-minded and like-hearted souls, with the intention to support the collective ascension of humanity, the healing of our own minds and hearts, return to unity consciousness, and the relieving of the burdens of separation consciousness. Also supporting Mother Earth, Gaia, in her transformation. And holding the field steady in the midst of these transitions and changes, which are natural and cyclical. Okay, so I'm gonna do a quick assessment to see where we are now, what's going on. Also, how have things been for folks energetically? Are you feeling that things are stabilizing more compared to, I was about to say compared to December, like we just now are in December. All right, I guess I'm already in the future. Wow, y'all. I got all major arcana so far. Okay. We have Temperance, or in this deck it's called Art. Card number 14 in the major arcana, and this is the card of Sagittarius. For me, this can be higher self or also twin flame energy. We have the Hierophant or the High Priest card. This is number 5 in the major arcana. And this is Taurus. We also have card number 21, which is the Universe card in this deck, also called the World. This usually gets associated with Saturn, but for me, this is galactic level. This is the galactic parent, galactic mother, Father God. Which is its own version of Saturn. So Saturn being the energy of bringing formless into form. Okay. And every time I see this, this looks to me like the birth canal. And then we have the Fool. Number 0 in the major arcana. This is Pluto, but also Uranus for me as well. And fire element. Oh, feeling much more settled and focused. Nice. Very nice. Central energy at the moment is 10 of Pentacles, but I am going to be expanding this spread. Let me check in first. All right, so this is about to be a message, so listen carefully, take notes, and come back and rewatch. Basically, we, regardless of what level or area this is in for us, we have ascended. Okay, so whatever that next stage or area of ascension process is that was on hand for us, that has come online and that has been successful. So we are now operating as a higher consciousness in form. Whether it's 4th dimensional consciousness, 5th dimensional consciousness, et cetera, et cetera. But that is in place. And it is being physically integrated and embodied at this time. Okay. Because that necessarily happens next after whatever that level of Christ consciousness awakening has occurred. How we are being seen by others is as divine beings, as galactic beings, as angels, whatever that reflection would be for that next level for you. That is actually how you are being seen by the world. So understand that these changes that we are undergoing are not just in our minds or in our personal experience. They are being recognized and acknowledged external to us, whether people have the words or language to describe it. But it is specifically being recognized as such. So you need to know that now, because this means that you can't, but also won't go back to who you were. But also, too, that you have, you are a bringer of the light. You are a light worker. Okay. And this is a part of your new soul path. This awareness and this walking through the world. Because really, truly, what we are continually talking about are shifts in consciousness. And the shifts in consciousness are what changes the expression and the physical work and service that happens in the material world. It's not that you like literally become a completely different person, right? Like it's you evolving and shaping and growing and being an emanation of the divine through your specific incarnation. So that's this new soul path, this next soul path is you operating. I'm sure you guys know when I say you, I'm meaning us. It's just easier to say you. Because I'm channeling, so I just need to do it instead of self-correcting. But you're operating from this place now. So it's important to make decisions from that place now, because that's actually what's going to line you up with the greatest level of manifestation and fulfillment and excitement that you're looking for in the material world. So it necessarily requires a leaning more and more on spirit guidance, your soul guidance, your higher self guidance, as opposed to the linear mind. Okay. And it's not that the linear mind does not have any use, but the linear mind is a servant to the higher mind, point blank, period. The linear mind is a creation of consciousness. Therefore, it must serve. That's not where you go for your answers. That's where you go for the implementation of the strategies and of the assignments and the instructions. During this phase, it's important for us to support our body in the process. So really up-leveling your physical self-care. Whatever the upgrades would be. And you really could look at all aspects of your physical self-care and see and ask the question, where can I level up this? So, in terms of, say, for example, the things that you use to lotion your body, where can you level up the quality? More natural products versus, products that are laden with chemicals. Where can you level up the water that you drink? Where can you level up the food that you eat? Adding more superfoods, doing more light-based foods, meaning fruits and vegetables. How can you level up your sleep? Just those kinds of things to support the physical body and holding the light and transforming in the way that needs to transform with this essentially Christ consciousness embodiment. It's probably already in the process of doing that. If you've been paying attention, it's probably already been starting to ask you to make some shifts and moves, especially since we got into Sag season, but it might not have become clear until after we got clear of the Neptune going direct, which basically was Thanksgiving. But follow those nudges, okay? Because the communication from the body about how it needs to shift and how it needs to show up is definitely coming through. And that's right now. where the practical considerations need to be, as well as, of course, managing your resources and specifically your money right now. And I heard, you know what it takes to build your empire. And if you don't, or if you're not fully clear just yet, spend some time meditating on what that would look like. Routine and structure are going to be really important to help you stabilize and ground this energy for the weeks to come. I feel like I was talking to one of the signs about this in the December tarot forecast. Oh, side note, I forgot to say at the beginning, but the December monthly forecast videos are now up. You can go to my website and click on the watch page and go to monthly forecast videos. It's $10 for all the videos for this month. And then starting in January, they're going to be 10 per video, or you can get all of them for 40. I forgot who I was telling that to about the routines, but big energy. So your mind is also connected to your body. So the thing about the routines and the disciplines and the up leveling also relates to the mind, because with all of the consciousness changes and shifts that are occurring, the mind is also trying to find its way, its new place, its new center, its new foundation. So that sense of normalcy and consistency, mundaneness is actually going to be very helpful for thinking clearly, thinking specifically, seeing things for what they are, not having your mind all over the place, right? It's actually going to help a lot. But the transition that your mind is going through is, again, because it's tied to the body too, is aligning it in such a way that you can more easily see and perceive and think through the higher consciousness, which ultimately reduces the lag time of knowing what to do. It's like you automatically can operate from a place of instinct because the flow is naturally happening from the higher self, as opposed to you operating predominantly from your mind and then having to ask back and forth. So basically just being able to say, this is what is so, kind of thing. So still play around with strategies. Allow yourself to be malleable. And lean more into the newness. And be excited about the newness. Purposefully choose joy and gratitude. Okay, so I'm going to pull messages from the 4 gates of matter for us real quick. And then we'll get messages for the week ahead. And then I'll pull cards, the other oracle cards. Any questions so far on that portion of the channel message? I forgot to put the time when I started this channeling. Yee. I think it was around maybe 38 minutes, somewhere in there. Linear brain. Okay. One second. Okay. One second. First gate, we have the Empress. Second gate, we have the Sun. Third gate, we have the Seven of Swords. Okay, and then fourth gate, we have the Ten of Pentacles. And High Priestess on the bottom. So this is my card. All right. Okay, changing energy. 1 second. Okay, so this first gate is related to what we term as the fire element. And so this, since I'm doing a high level reading, this is talking about spirit or the spiritual realms. And so having this goddess energy showing up, meaning Mother God or the divine feminine principle, the magnetic principle, the quantum waters, the field, like all that kind of stuff, I associate at the higher level with the Empress. So spiritually, our focus is to be magnifying the feminine principle, the Mother God principle, and especially those associated colors. So if you read this most recent newsletter, you know I was talking about this blue aqua color is what we should be working with now, as opposed to the white ray, as that has been infiltrated. It's actually been infiltrated for a couple of years, but really in terms of helping us to, on a galactic level, reconnect and heal deeply the core wound of separation from source consciousness, that actually is being, the waves being made through that blue energy first and foremost. So really working with a lot of that. Secondarily, working with green. And then if it comes up, then this kind of magenta pinky color. Obviously, these are heart-oriented tones, but when we talk about source level things, this is Father, Mother God, Sun energy here. But predominantly, this is about the Mother Goddess principle. That needs to be the focus spiritually for the time being until further notice, basically. And that's also what is going to help heal the earth and heal the earth throughout these transitions. I mean, point blank, the earth is already healed, just to be clear, but she is in the midst of transition, which is natural to her. All the planets, all the stars go through cycles, so we're having this ascension experience in the midst of her also going through natural cycle changes. So this helps to stabilize the field, that color. So for the second gate, we're talking about the air element here. We have the sun. This is galactic level consciousness I'm picking up, but 1 second. So the air element is associated with, when we're talking about the higher levels, for me, this is actual consciousness itself. Um, so this is a reminder that there is a healed, whole, unified field of consciousness that is there, that is emanating and available for us to partake of in our body as at each progressive stage of our own personal development. And that is what we are to always be seeking. That is where the protection and the abundance comes from. And regardless of the physical forms or other non-physical forms that may take, there is always a unified field, a unified consciousness behind even apparent distortion. And as you work with this divine feminine principle, Mother God, however you want to frame it, that will become more and more apparent for you. It will help to heal the split in consciousness. Those two are working very much in tandem. Okay. I mean, essentially, this is Mother God and Father God. Okay, so for the third gate, this is going to be the water element. We have 7 of Swords. And this is also referring to galactic consciousness, but it's more so about frequencies and intelligences that are sent to and throughout all the planetary and stellar bodies in the systems from source. And each has its own wisdom, yeah? There does also seem to be a, let me clarify this first. Now, the water for me would literally talk about the quantum field or the energy fields or the magnetic field. But it's interesting that we have the swords here, which is, you know, the air element consciousness. So it's like there's a changing and a shifting of the magnetics to strengthen the fields of all of us. Yeah. Okay. Confirmation on that. Just got the download. So this basically we're just being supported in having stronger and more resilient magnetic fields due to this recent unity consciousness, Christ consciousness embodiment phase. So that's actually what we're being helped with on that side of things. And then lastly, for the final gate, which is the Earth gate, we have this out again, the Ten of Pentacles, which of course is Earth energy. It's so there's a choice here about what we create here in the material world. Is it going to be something of unity and collaboration and interdependence, or something of disruption? Because the thing is, now we see all the paths, or we've seen enough of the possibilities and probabilities to forge a new creation. But that's what it has to be, is a new creation, not a repeating of what was. Yeah. So trust the higher self versus the ego. It's a moment by moment creation. Okay, so let's see for the week ahead what we are to do, and then I'm going to jump into these different oracle decks to close out the reading. And let me know if you have any questions so far on what's coming through. I mean, it's just like all the manifestation. It's good energy. Really beautiful energy. Yeah, things are going to start moving fast in the spirit, y'all. And of course, that naturally will mean that things will pick up in the physical, which is good. Beautiful. All right, so basically we're starting the week again in this ascended place, 3 of Wands. In a couple days, like halfway through this week ahead, 2 of Cups, so balancing the energies, stabilizing the field, ending with the Queen of Swords, which for me is higher self energy embodied. Okay, so really like that. And we are also resonating in this star energy. So that heavenly consciousness, that Christ consciousness. But what's on our mind is definitely our own personal upgrades, doing our own individual work. I have the Three of Wands here as it relates to that. That's where we are getting the support from Spirit. This Three of Wands, or not Three of Wands, excuse me, the Three of Pentacles and Two of Pentacles been showing up a lot, and I expect that they will continue to show up through most of next year pretty heavy, because I was already picking up this energy when I was doing the Mars cycle reading a couple months ago, which is this personal development, personal promotion, leveling up of the work that you do. So that's really good. And guess what we had come out in the environment? Eight of Wands, which is Mercury in Sag. And wasn't I just talking about Sag Mercury moving into Sag next week on Monday? So yeah, things are going to pick up. This is a great energy for manifestation. Again, networking, communicating, opportunities opening up. Like it's really, really nice. So yeah, we're doing it, y'all. Like there's literally, that's just it. We're doing it. We made it. So accept that we've made it, right? All right, so let's get our color for the week. And I think I'll do Threads of Fate. So we get like the plants and the animal and the crystal. And then we'll see if you guys want other messages. I brought my other decks, the Hidden Realms and the Ascension deck as well too. Any questions though? Does that all make sense? It should. It should, hopefully. Whew. Okay. What's the color that's going to best support us for this week ahead in our physical embodiment phase, since that seems to be the biggest message that's coming through? That and continuing to work with that blue aqua color. And please go and read that that newsletter from earlier this week if you have not already. I'll probably share the same information on an Instagram and Facebook post. Also, too, on my newsletter, I have added an Amazon wish list there. So if you'd like to get me some goodies for the end of the year, that is there. I'll only have the wish list up for the month of December, and then I'll take it down. And I might either do it as a quarterly thing, or I might just do it during Anderson Alchemy's birthday month, which is June, and maybe just the holiday time. We'll see. Ooh. So we got, thank you for your presence. I always try when I get to catch you live. I miss a lot, but what I heard really resonates. Awesome. And listen, we always come in at the perfect time, right? But definitely go back and rewatch. So the color we got is indigo. And it's funny because on the bottom of the deck, we have lavender. So definitely it's staying in this color scheme. But yeah, indigo is business. And we've been getting this a lot off and on these past couple months. So I'll read the message that's in here. I'm not feeling that the message is really going to resonate, because I feel like this is more about this higher level consciousness than anything else. But this card is about improving your vision. Indigo helps with any illnesses affecting your head, ears, eyes, or nose. It also treats mental and emotional disorders such as ADD, anxiety, and depression. Use indigo for problems with insomnia and to release stress and tension. When visualized, indigo provides a sense of clarity and purpose. Visualize indigo rays to improve your vision and to make your dreams a reality. So the exercise is focus on your eyes. Are they tired and heavy or light and relaxed? Imagine indigo light penetrating your eyes, finding any dark spots in your field of vision and dissipating them. Place your palms on your eyes and gently hold them there for a few minutes, allowing your eyes to completely relax. Visualize something in the future that you would like to create, then freeze it as if it were a beautiful painting. Now place it in an indigo bubble and allow it to float into the middle of the world, shining its energy from there. And say, Divine Intelligence, please allow what I've seen in my vision to manifest in the perfect time and in the perfect way. Okay, so that actually was relevant to what was coming through about that visioning for the future. So, all right, let's get Threads of Fate out. Oh, also, see, this is why I should write down announcements. For those that book a 2020 year ahead astrology forecast with me before the end of December, you will be getting a free gift, which will be one of the 2 specialty videos that I'm going to be doing for 2020. And it's going to be the 2020 astrology video that I'm going to be doing. So it's going to have different information than what is covered in the actual session. But it's going to be other key dates because there's way too much information to do in a year ahead forecast to make it absorbable. So, but yeah, you'll get that as a free gift. And everyone who has booked a 2020 reading with me for this last quarter of the year, i.e. those of you who followed my advice to do your planning in the last quarter instead of waiting to the beginning of the year, you're going to be rewarded. So if you wait until January, because a lot of folks tend to wait until January to book a session, you're not going to get the gift. You have to pay for it separate. All right. So what plant, animal, and crystal is best to support us this week ahead in our embodiment phase? So these 2 came out. I mean, damn. The Observer and the Universe. We already had the Universe pop up, which I shouldn't be surprised of because, I mean, not Saturn, but Sagittarius is in alignment with the galactic center. So all that kind of galactic big energy is definitely there. So let's go to the Observer first. Okay. There's that. All right. The Observer indicates a time where you are being encouraged to suspend judgment or conclusions and simply witness. Humans are always trying to sort their external world. We want to process it, make sense of it, and figure out our place within it. It is our way of trying to feel secure and comfortable within our environment. However, this can also reach extremes where we are automatically forming opinions without gathering enough information. The Observer asks you to pause and simply pay attention. This may feel passive, but in observing, we are already cultivating change. The balanced observer intuitively knows when to be present and when to move. They watch, but they do not do so in a way that harms others. Many people may interpret them as apathetic. In reality, they understand that there is a time and a place for action. An unbalanced observer becomes too stagnant. They can see how everything functions, but they do not believe that they are able to affect change, as they are only one person. This can be a form of bypassing, as they may not stand up when it is needed. I love this energy about the observer because this is the higher consciousness that we are to be emanating from. And I've been talking about this a little bit about the simultaneous up-leveling of our lives, along with the increase of space in our lives because of the necessary jettisoning of people, places, things, situations, agreements that just are taking up space and are, as a consequence, hindering growth as well as hindering vision. But this is a state of mastery. This is what you practice: moving when it is for you to move, taking action on those things when it is for you to take action on. So as I was saying earlier in the notes that I got from Spirit for today, about walking your path, yes, you can do everything. Just because you can do everything does not mean you should, right? Okay, so the universe, where you at, girl? So here's the universe. Isn't that pretty? All right, so this card asks you to fully trust that there is a plan for you and that you have the support of the unseen. There are forces at play much larger than you could imagine. Surrender to that which you cannot control and trust in the idea that Spirit is always orchestrating what is most needed. This card may come at a time when a cycle or trial is also coming to a close. Phrase any what if questions in a positive way. What if this is going to be okay? What if this is exactly as it should be? Sometimes we become paralyzed in the practical world because we are waiting for Spirit to show us the way. However, the universe co-creates with us. We must be empowered as humans in this dense reality to show up for what we want and trust that Spirit will do the same. If you are someone who is always asking for signs, try to take a break from that. Trust yourself as well. That's an important message as well too, is we can get, and this is the thing, it's like it's such a fine dance of leaning on Spirit, but you also still have to do your work. Like you also still have to express desire and still take the step, right? Because it's just not going to, like, there will be obviously some things that will just flow to you, but it's like you have access to everything that you can want, but if you don't actually take the step to go on the road to even enjoy it and to express it and to live it out, it's not going to come to pass. Yes, it's already done in the spirit, but that's not where you get the fulfillment. You get the fulfillment because you get to experience it in the physical world. So go in that direction. Like, an idea is great. Having faith is great. And yes, it is necessary. It will keep you on the path. But are you going to take the step in the direction of actually bring it into fruition? Why or why not? Right? So there's that. Thank you. I was going to ask a question that was answered. Nice. Yes, so beautiful. Wow, I need to hear this. Yay, lovely. All right. Is anyone wanting any other oracle guidance from the other decks, or is that feeling good? Because we're about at like 11:30, so I can pull more if there's an ask, but if that feels like it's good enough, if it feels like that works for you right now, then I want this to be like perfectly symmetric. I'm a Libra rising. Yeah, let me know if you want any additional oracle cards or if that feels good. And I'm glad that this is resonating. It definitely is resonating for me. And yeah, with the universe card showing up twice already, that is always an indication that there is a a cycle closing, and we are shifting into some new energy. So, and that's very much Sag, right? Sag is the galactic center. So I'm really looking forward to the new energy popping up with winter solstice. I think that's going to be and feel really good. Feel really good. Yep. Everybody's good? Nobody wants anything else? Oh, okay, so it's going to be 5 p.m. for a night with the Oracle. I just got the flyer. Just got the flyer. Okay. I love how I don't remember what I organize. I was just checking my email. So I will send, I should have a link. Let me ask real quick. Sorry, doing business right now. Okay, so I think we're good. Nobody else is asking for anything, which is nice. That means we're good and lovely. So God willing, of course, I will see you all next Thursday. So we'll be still kind of feeling the vibe of the full moon in Gemini, but we'll be right smack in the middle of the energy of Venus conjuncting Saturn and Pluto, which is the tail end of that week, and also at the tail end of this, the last remaining energies of this loose water kite. So that should be interesting energy. We'll see if I get any messages beforehand, because this was definitely a different way that this Oracle Talks went, but I think it was just because it's been so long since I've actually been able to be here. So yeah, hope everybody has good health. Please don't try not to get sick, because I just finished getting over a cold and that was not fun. I know the flu is going around like crazy. I don't think that's what I had. It got knocked out pretty quickly actually, but I think it was just a regular cold. But yeah, stay safe out there. Wash your hands in this cold water. And if you are here in LA, I am very much looking forward to seeing you at the Night with the Oracle event on the 21st, which is a Saturday, 5 p.m. I'll be sending more information out about that. I'll probably, since I just got the flyer, I'll do a post for that tomorrow. And then, of course, it'll be in the newsletter too, right? All right, love you all so much. Thank you for your support. Thank you for liking the video. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for getting and purchasing the December videos. Thank you for recommending me to your family and friends and all the things. And again, 1 week left for signing up for this upcoming semester of the Lightworker Incubator. So please join in if that is on your radar. All right, thank you. Blessings and see you soon.